It was Black Market then, yeah? Okay, so...
Must have been. Yeah, it was Black Market. And then, do you know what? It was by the pirate ship. Do you remember by London Bridge? There's a pirate ship. That's where we gave you the dubs.
Oh, yeah, I do remember, yeah. You sure it weren't Victoria Station?
No, it was London Bridge, because we came from Norwood Junction.
Oh, yeah, and you give me the dubs. I remember a few Mallet dubs and a few dubs from you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember. So that was the first initial time I met you in the shop and then linked you again for the dubs.
Then we linked you then.
Yeah, but then obviously, that's when our alliance started from that.
Yeah.
When I started coming down, or you'd be sending me, playing me tunes down the phone.
Yeah.
There weren't no internet.
Every night, wasn't it?
AIM.
Yeah, I don't even
No, it was on the phone.
It was on the phone at one
Every
point.
single night, I'd be on the phone to him for like 2-3 hours.
Yeah.
I'd be building a beat while we're just chatting nonsense.
Crazy.
And I'd be like, and I'd put the phone to the speaker and he'd be like, take the eye out, turn it down. But it was...
There's truth in that, definitely.
Yeah.
In that part, there's truth.
It wasn't wrong.
No, but that started definitely. From that introduction, it all went off from there. And then it was like, that's how I met you through Low.
Yeah.
I met you, Pokes, around Low's house one time. We was around there jamming.
Yeah.
You come down to do the remix, innit?
Of course.
No, but I don't think Task was there that time when I met you.
First time.
Yeah, I think I just met you.
From whatever day that was onwards, with the whole team, like alliance type thing where you was pushing out the tunes, and at the time you weren't even DJing. So at the time it was good for you and obviously for me. As a team, I think it was that was a good combination, man.
Yeah, because like we were just stubborn, weren't we?
Yeah.
We
Well,
just
end of the day,
do you remember when people called it slug step?
bruv, that's the thing, yeah. The amount of times that's the one thing about what we were doing. We didn't care. We were doing what we wanted to do.
Yeah, exactly.
And we was in it, and that's all that mattered.
I remember the first time I dropped Roughage. Right, I remember I dropped it at DMZ's.
Leeds or in London?
No, in London. It was still in third base. I remember I dropped it thinking, yeah, this is the new one. It's like out there, people are gonna love it. And I dropped it, and people just looked at me like,
what is this?
What are you doing?
Yeah.
And I didn't really play it after that. I was like,
put you off.
Maybe it's a dead dub.
Yeah.
And about a year, 6 months later, Mala played it. And it just got rewinds, and I was like, all right, I'll play it again.
But yeah, I mean, then that whole time, like, the thing is with that, as much as I like it when people request the old tunes, I want to get away from that a bit.
Yeah.
If I'm booked to do an old school set, I love that. That's when I can get out the dubs and reminisce a bit.
Yeah,
that's the thing. It's like I ain't taking anything away from them tunes, but I think
no, but it had its time.
Yeah. And I mean, as a person, I like to keep moving on.
Yeah,
that's
well,
why I kind
that's
of like playing new stuff.
I mean,
but that's when
people just get caught up on like the time and whatever, and it's just like it can't be 2006 forever, can it?
Now you know what, hit the nail on their head because there's so many.
That's exactly what it is.
It's exactly what it is. There's so many people that don't accept you move on.
But it's just like it's not even about. I think too many people got too caught up on the BPM and the beat pattern, and it's just like really and truly it's the sound.
Yeah, it was always about that.
It was about the sound.
It was about the tempo, but not about. Yeah, it was never the structure of the thing. It was just the tempo.
I think I learnt that though. I don't think I knew that straight away. Like at the time when we were doing what we were doing, or you was building what you was building, and I was in love with that. I was obsessed with that sound.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was really obsessed with a certain type of.
Yeah, no, there was a Youngsta tune.
Yeah.
People would like, blam, that's a Youngsta. Youngsta will love
that. But then I think that's just natural, right? I mean, it would be boring if I just if you don't progress
but
naturally
that was the thing
as an
also,
artist.
like on the flip side of that, when I stopped with the dubstep and started doing Swamp, and when Swamp from Foot Crab onwards, really, it was in my head. Even though, like for a lot of people, it must have looked mad. For me, I'm doing the same thing. It was drum machine stuff. It was still subby. Beat patterns were different. Tempo was different. But in my head, I was doing the same thing.
I don't know if I feel responsible for sort of not changing that, as in, like I mean, there was so much variation, and then all of a sudden you get into a certain sound, innit?
I think you held it down because.
But also at that time,
that's what I like.
Other people were still playing variety of stuff. Not everyone was playing.
No.
But no one played it. You had your way of playing it.
Yeah.
That was the thing, and because you had like a really like, it's kind of like in a good way, but it was quite a narrow like depth of field as to what you will play.
Yeah, very Pacific sound.
But then you know what you're doing with it, and then you had all the old dubs that were like mine and D1 and like Scream, all the unreleased ones, and you're mixing them up with the new stuff which you think that fits.
Yeah.
And it just always sounded interesting.
Whereas I think you yourself anyway as a DJ are quite like you're quite a kinetic DJ anyway, and like you were like doing like backlashes and doubling up. Like I remember going forward and you were doubled up on Twist Up.
Yeah.
I've got goose pimples, bro.
Yeah, because it was like twice because of the step up in the tune, innit?
Yeah.
I really like what you were saying about how, like, to you, it's the same thing because it is the same thing.
It's passion, innit?
Basically,
Oh, it's the sound, isn't it?
It's
Just
just
because
like,
the BPM's different and it's slightly different drum patterns and stuff. It's the sound.
really what I thought was like, what do I want to push? What I've always loved, and it's been like, well, it's like I take reference from all the classic sounds in sort of dance music or club music or whatever you're going to call it, and then so yeah, it'll be that. It'll be very drum machine influenced as opposed to the breaks kind of thing, innit?
I mean, I'm just trying to say, anyone that disrespects it, that's up to them, but it's a natural progression for you as a person.
Completely. I'm really excited to play this thing actually because I've got a set plan to play, which is just gonna be, I think it's gonna be murder. I think it's gonna be great. One of the good things about like Forward back then was that you know what I mean, you didn't know what you were getting.
There was no expectation, innit? You just went down there, you found your little spot.
Massive diversity.
Exactly. It became dubstep, and then dubstep had rules. Before that, we were just writing beats.
Just writing beats,
Exactly.
And like some people called it dubstep, some called it 138, blah blah blah.
Yeah, that brings me to how I feel about it today. Like I'm more excited about music, and well, I've always been very excited about what I'm doing and what I love and my passion. But right about now, I think that he's very healthy. What is going on? Dance music.
It's brilliant right now.
Dance music.
Do you know what? If you check Thingy, Phase Miyake.
Bro, there's some great stuff.
But what he's doing is basically what we were doing.
Bro,
very
stripped back.
He's killing it. I was chatting to him for about 2 hours the other day, and he's just like, I don't care what they say, bruv. I just like my subs. I'm just writing my sub music. And I was just like, go on, bruv, you're killing it. I think the lineup looks strong.
Bruv, I'm very happy.
Because it's like, if you look, it's like me, I don't even know what genre I play, but it's roughly around 120 beats PM, 125, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And then you got yourself, like doing the 140 thing, and you got like Icicle, he plays up to 160, don't he?
I feel everyone's got their own sound.
So it's just like, the BPM even through there, that's all over the place.
Yeah, everywhere, it's everywhere.
There's a common thread running through it, which is kind of, I think, space and bass, really.
Well, totally, that's
You know
my
what I mean?
point. Everyone that's on the lineup is as different as they are and as different as the BPMs are. It's all the same sound, like what you were saying. I just play what I play.
Do you know what old tunes have been killing me lately? It's been like slightly older than our bit.
Yeah.
So like, do you remember like Rage, Mark 1, Vehicle and all that?
Exactly. When it was
Snake
like
Charmer
texture, Road Records, what Ammunition used to do, like Mentor, Snake Charmer and Havoc. Two of my favourite tunes ever.
Exactly.
And I mean, all them, that is the perfect example of a great time for music as well. It was so varied.
Because that was what influenced us to do what we did after that.
Exactly.
So like, a lot of people are just like, I feel like playing it safe, like playing 4/4 kind of. I feel like now that's kind of like across the world. That's probably the lowest common denominator.
Yeah, it is.
4/4 beat.
It definitely is.
And I feel like
it's like the 4/4 beat and that half step bass line.
Yeah.
Boom,
So
boom,
I feel
boom.
like
It's like everyone's writing the same tune.
And I feel like everyone's kind of I think people are producing and doing stuff, but I feel like everyone's like holding back. No one wants to kind of stick their head above ground, like kind of what you did and go.
Yeah, they're the people.
I'm actually on this now, and I feel like that's what's
a lot of the
happening
stuff
now.
that I'll be playing at Thingy at Contact is the people who are like sticking their head out. And
Yeah,
going,
I mean, that's what I mean. I think it's that
like,
time now. I think we're at that phase now, at that stage now where things have been a little bit stagnant. I think I'd say for maybe like 2 or 3 years, not like a blank.
I'd say about 2 years. I think there has been little moments of things, but I agree. It's kind of, it got into a big party which everyone was really enjoying, and then it got to the end of that party where it's like, okay, you either go big room and just hands in the air, or you go back down in the trenches.
Let me say one thing now.
Turned into a right old mode.
No, but it ain't. One thing now I must say, it don't matter what anyone says. You had the balls to follow your heart and do what you want to do. You didn't start jumping on any bandwagon because you thought it was going to make you money. You started playing what you're playing and making what you're making because you love it. And that's the end of it. For me, that's it, full stop. And you can't, if people want to have their, hold phones in your face and say, oh, I've come here to play dubstep, it's like, well, do some research and understand I've moved on.